Good evening and welcome to UTV Live. Tonight, people can take to the dance floor once again as nightclubs reopen across Northern Ireland. It comes as further COVID-19 restrictions are eased, with social distancing also no longer legally required in pubs and restaurants. Unlike Scotland, Wales and the Republic, proof of vaccination is not required to enter large venues here. The executive is leaving it to venue owners to decide if they want to implement such a system. The hospitality industry is expecting a busy night, with Halloween coinciding with the lifting of restrictions. Meanwhile, the health department says there's been a further 6 deaths of patients who previously tested positive for COVID-19 and 1,001 further cases. Several properties have been seriously damaged after a mini tornado hit part of County Down last night. Throughout today, homes and businesses have been dealing with the aftermath. A trail of devastation. A rural community left to pick up the pieces.
We thought it was an explosion. So, of course, I jumped out of bed, not realising I have a broken ankle. And the roof ladder had kind of shunted down, it lowered down. So, and then I could feel rain coming in through underneath me from the downstairs hall.
The Met Office says this due to an isolated mini tornado. It ripped through this stretch of road just outside Kilkeel at around 4 o'clock this morning. This trailer turned upside down. A roof of a farm shed landing on a house a quarter of a mile away.
I did contact the Chief Executive in Uri Morning Down Council, and she has been in contact with Dara, the Department of Agriculture, who would deal with this type of incident should it be flooding or not so often this type of tornado type damage. The officer has triggered an emergency response, so there'll be somebody down from the council in the morning.
A yellow warning for wind on our coasts has been issued for Monday, with further disruption expected. A man has been stabbed several times in Newtownards. It happened in the Mill Street area at around 9:30 last night. A 22-year-old man has been arrested. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, a runner has been stabbed during an assault in Bangor. It happened in the Stricklands Glen area at around 8 o'clock last night. Police say the victim was also struck in the head after resisting an attacker.
I can't quite believe this has happened. It's a really quiet residential area. I myself live nearby. I was actually in the area about an hour or two beforehand, jogging myself. So it really has been such a shock to everyone here. My thoughts are, of course, with the victim.
Politicians and campaigners are preparing for 2 weeks of talks on climate change. They're heading to Glasgow for the COP26 summit, which is being described as the last chance to prevent the Earth warming up irreversibly. Our colleague James Webster has the details.
This weekend, thousands of delegates, including more than 100 world leaders, will begin travelling to Glasgow for the start of COP26. It is the 26th conference of the parties where every country that signed a United Nations agreement in 1994 to avoid dangerous climate change gets together. The conference is hosted by the UK, where politicians are under pressure to lead by example and ensure that agreement is reached. And their biggest task over the next 2 weeks is to find ways to limit the world's rising temperatures to just 1.5 degrees Celsius.
Ultimately, the COP has to secure reductions in pollution, right, in climate-wrecking pollution, because we have to do that, and we have to do that now if we want to avoid climate breakdown. So if the talks get to the end of the 2 weeks and we haven't got those kind of big emissions cuts, those big cuts in pollution, then the talks can't be called a success.
So far, scientists say efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions haven't gone far enough. They want more ambitious targets, and they are targets which can and will affect all our lives. With the eyes of the world on Glasgow, here at ITV News, we have a team who will bring you regular reports from the conference on our programmes and online.
And that coverage continues on UTV this week. Mark Mallet and Eden Wilson will be live from Glasgow with reports and analysis. Now, just time for a check on the weather. Here's Katie Andrews.
It's cold out there, but there's a heatwave on the way. UTV Weather, sponsored by Phoenix Natural Gas.
After a wet and windy start to next week, it turns a bit quieter with a mixture of sunshine and showers, and often on the cool side. Low pressure will gradually pull away to the northeast over the next 24 hours, and this, coupled with high pressure in the mid-Atlantic, will bring a chilly north to northwest airstream for the first part of next week. This evening we'll see further showers at first, but these will merge into more general rain, heavy at times later in the night. It will also become very windy, with gales likely in coastal areas after midnight. So it's a wet and very windy start to the new working week, but conditions should gradually improve as the morning wears on. Winds will be moderate and the rain will become more showery, with most places seeing a bit of afternoon sunshine. Tuesday and Wednesday will see a chilly northerly wind, feeding in plenty more showers, but it should become somewhat drier by Thursday.
Home means more snuggling up and keeping warm. UTV Weather, sponsored by Phoenix Natural Gas.
Well, that's the very latest this Sunday evening. Katie will be back with your local headlines during GMB tomorrow. For now, thanks for watching and do enjoy the rest of your weekend.